Welcome, Big Show nerds. We have a really packed episode today. We're starting things off. We've got some Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles rumors to talk about. We have Star Wars reboot rumors to kill dead in the water and a bunch more. So let's get into all of the things, shall we? Okay, so let's jump into housekeeping, if you will. In housekeeping, honestly, pretty standard for a couple of weeks still. We still have a little while before any scheduling conflicts are going to come into play. So as far as scheduling goes, that's doing just fine. As far as traction goes on any of the other channels, I'm super excited to report that things are really picking up. So thank you very much, nerds. If you found the main channel through the Nerd News clips or through one of the syndicated outlets like Nerdy Legion or Big Show Entertainment Network, then welcome. Thank you very much for joining. That's really all we've got for housekeeping. Super quick and easy, so let's jump into the news. Let's talk about TV streaming. I'm over the episodic thing. I'll change the graphic eventually. It might stay as episodic for a while, but yeah, as it stands right now, it's just easier to say TV. Everyone else just still calls it TV. I thought I was doing something original and nice and good, and it's just too much of a mouthful. It's TV streaming at best, but TV nonetheless. All right, so follow-ups in the TV section. First up, we have Daredevil has officially announced we will in fact be seeing Jon Bernthal as the Punisher in Daredevil Born Again. This one comes with, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword because it's awesome that Bernthal's coming as Punisher, but still missing in these announcements are Deborah Ann Woll and Eldon Henderson, or Henson rather. I can't remember her character's name, but Froggy, yeah, just missing. They're as it stands right now, they're not going to be in the series, and Disney has nothing to say about that. So potentially, because there has not been an official word one way or the other, potentially the door is still open. These two could come back to their roles in the Disney version of this show. It's not looking great though from all the sources in the world. They're just not likely to happen. So there you go. Next up on the list, we're talking about the Walking Dead Rick and Michonne series. Still without a title, but we do have a new casting announcement. Leslie Ann Brandt, who was in Lucifer. I don't know exactly who she played in Lucifer because I'm still kind of not really watching, but half watching Lucifer. When I'm at the gym, it's on the TV, and sometimes I watch it. But yeah, the new character to the franchise, the character's name is going to be Pearl Thorne. That doesn't really do much for us because the series hasn't started yet, but that's really interesting to know. Let's move right along. We got one more follow-up, and it is about the series Barry. We talked about it previously. It does pretty well in the nerd community. It's actually a fun watch, though I've only watched, I believe, just the one episode, the very first episode. I'll get through it eventually, and we'll talk about it, and That Just Happened. That Just Happened, by the way, is the complimentary show to this show. I know I've been kind of not great the last couple of weeks about getting it onto the syndicated outlets, but it will find its way back to you, I promise. That is where we talk about the things after they've come out or after they've come to fruition, and we get to interact with them. Then we talk about them on the That Just Happened, and that's again sister show. Go check it out. Whatever. Barry, however, back to the news. Barry season 4 is officially going to be the final season for Barry. There is a new trailer for the 4th season, and also just kind of sad day for Barry. Though they did say that it is going to have a proper ending, and it's not going to be a cliffhanger, because they knew the ending was coming, so they could plan for it, which is great. If you're going to cancel a show, let the showrunner know so they can make it work. All right, so that's what we got for follow-ups and corrections. Let's talk about trailers. We did just talk about the Barry trailer. We have one other just plain ass trailer, and that has to do with American Dad season 18. American Dad is now living on TBS. TBS bought the rights to them a couple of seasons ago. I want to say roundabout what is properly referred to as season 16 these days. But the reason I keep saying kind of weird things about the season numbers is because technically this is the 20th season, but because of the way that they've rolled them together, once TBS bought the rights to it, they kind of rolled, I believe it was season 1 and season 2 in together, and then season 3 and season 4 in together, which means you're down 2 seasons. So, yeah. I really, that's about as good of an explanation as I could find, because I spent time looking for it, and it's just a freaking trailer that we're talking about. The trailer is more of the same, is more of exactly what you love about American Dad, so sure. I mean, if you don't already know what American Dad is, it's the other great cartoon from Seth MacFarlane, the guy who gave us Family Guy, and American Dad is not on the same level as Family Guy, at least Family Guy at its prime. Family Guy now is not that great, but American Dad, I don't think has really peaked or valleyed. It's just kind of went up and then plateaued and stayed right where it, which is generally not a great thing, but in this case, it's not a bad thing either. So there's that. That's our one trailer. Let's talk about some regular ass news, and we got a little bit of an interesting update on the Sons of Anarchy franchise. According to actor Theo Rossi, who, if you remember, played Juice in the original series, not the Mayans series, but the very original, started it all. He was doing an interview recently, and he said that there is potentially something in the works. So I guess this kind of is rumor, but he's saying that it's, they're just looking for contracts and such, is kind of the allusion he's making. But there very potentially is going to be something. He was not willing to share if it was going to be like a mini series or maybe a movie or a direct to streaming movie or anything of that nature. But there is something that is going to be reuniting that original cast, which is very strange because few of those characters are dead. The lead of the show, Jackson Teller, dead. The character that Theo Rossi plays, Juice, dead. How is that gonna work? But if more comes out about this, we will definitely be talking about it. That's what we got for the regular ass news. Let's talk about our TV streaming suggestion this week is Night Sky. I finally finished it over on Amazon Prime. J.K. Simmons, Sissy Spacek lead this cast, and it is bonkers. It is a lot of fun. It is science fiction in a very different kind of vein for science fiction. It's a lot more character-driven drama, and it's like a near future kind of science fiction, but also not really. Very hard to put into words, but also a hell of a great show to watch. It is only the one season. It will not be coming back for a second season, so it's just a lot of fun to think about what could have been with season 2. Once you get to the end, you'll know what I'm talking about. And yeah, absolutely worth a watch. Go watch Night Sky. Okay, movie news. We have more follow-ups. First up, the Alien movie, or the new Alien movie that we talked about previously that was kind of still somewhere in the ether and not a whole lot of details were known about it. We have some details now. It is going to be a straight to Hulu movie, much like the Predator movie called Prey that just happened that I still need to watch. But again, we'll talk about that over in That Just Happened. But so Hulu sequel synopsis, we have casting first. Hailee Spaeny, who was in Pacific Rim Uprising, has been cast as the lead. David Jonsson from Industry, Archie Renaux from Shadow and Bone, Isabela Merced, I believe, Merced maybe, Transformers The Last Night, Spike Fearn, from The Batman, and Aileen Wu from Away From Home. That is our cast as we know it so far. We also have a working title. It's called Alien Romulus. So what could that mean? And then we have our little brief synopsis so far, and that is as follows. A group of young people on a distant world who find themselves in a confrontation with the most terrifying life form in the universe. That's all they're giving us so far, but it's better than nothing, right? So the release date still has not yet been made known, though I wasn't sure if we talked about this previously, but Ridley Scott is involved in the production. He's just getting a producer's credit, so whether or not he's actually doing anything kind of remains to be seen. And it's an executive producer credit even, so very much more likely he's not doing a whole lot as far as like what a producer actually does, but it is what it is. That's what we got. Let's move. Speaking of the Batman, we finally have a shoot date announced for the Batman 2. Begin filming November 23rd in order to hit its release date of still October 3rd of 2024. So it seems pretty on track. I'm hopeful. Come on, Battinson, let's do this. Next, we're talking about a movie that I think a lot of people kind of forgot about because we talked about it when it was originally announced, but that was some months ago, and now they finally have a director. Detective Pikachu 2 has a director, Jonathan Crystal. Well, all right. It's not officially, as of me taking these notes a day or two ago, it's not officially set in stone just yet, though all accounts say that it is basically a done deal. They're just waiting for the ink to dry, if you will. So Jonathan Crystal is in talks to direct the movie, rather. And if that name doesn't do anything for you, you don't know who that is. I didn't either. He is apparently the co-creator of the show Portlandia. So that's weird. But it is what it is. Let's move right along. Next, we have something from the Star Wars camp, and this is confirmation of rumor that we talked about 3 or 4 weeks ago, actually. And that rumor is that Rogue Squadron and the Kevin Feige Star Wars movies have been canceled, and that has been officially announced. Yes, in fact, those 2 movies are no longer going to be happening. Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron and Kevin Feige's unnamed Star Wars movie are both no longer a thing. I do still very, very much hope they find someone maybe a little bit down the way at this point who can do something with the Rogue Squadron IP, because that was a great game, so we got to get a great movie out of it too. But if we don't, it's still a great game, so you don't need to make a movie out of it, but it would be fun either way. Yeah, this is, again, confirming things that we already know because they were from pretty good rumor sources. There was, the Taika Waititi Star Wars movie is also still moving forward, and we did get a little bit of an update there, and that's Taika is very likely going to be playing one of the characters in his movie as well. So take with that what you will. And then the Rian Johnson's trilogy. Still, there has not been an official word one way or the other since we last heard that it is somewhere in the early pre-production, so presumably that's still moving forward. Don't know how excited about that I am, but it is what it is. Let's move right along. Let's go into now trailers, and we got some great trailers this week. TMNT Mutant Mayhem, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, baby. Our next animated movie from the likes of Seth Rogen got a trailer. This time, the Turtles are actually going to be teenagers, which is weird. Let's do that. The internet is kind of going crazy about the April O'Neil in this trailer because she's young as well, which actually makes sense. But she's also been race swapped, so she's black instead of white, which honestly, it's more been race swapped, so she's black instead of Asian. The original OG April O'Neil, a lot of people are saying she was black in the very first comic that she appeared in. No, actually, it was a black and white comic, so it was kind of hard to portray. And depending on which creator you talk to, Eastman or Laird, Eastman, I believe, viewed her as a white character, and Laird viewed her as a mixed Asian character. So she is actually of Asian descent, if you want to even do that mind game with yourself at all, or others try and feel superior because you know what the original April. No, in a non-canon comic book, she was made black in the very early days, and subsequent reprintings of that non-canon comic book make her Asian because there was no like definitive acknowledgement of her race, so they just kind of changed the pigment of her skin, and recolorings of the original black and white comics also, I believe, make her at least appear to be kind of white, but she has dark hair, so maybe that means she could be whatever. It's irrelevant, because if it's a good story, nobody cares, right? That's the point. As long as this is a fun story and they get the personalities of these characters correct, that's the biggest hurdle we're trying to get to with the Ninja Turtles. The rest of it is just details, and the devil is in the details, so I don't want to get into that, but no, poor attempt at a joke, I apologize. But yeah, so I'm actually pretty stoked about this. The April situation kind of is what it is. She's been black in a number of different iterations at this point, so her race makes no difference, so long as they tell me a fun, actual Ninja Turtle story and not whatever the hell Michael Bay gave us. Fair? Fair. Let's move on. Next trailer is one called Off the Grid. So we got, it's a new Neil Blomkamp movie. Neil Blomkamp, obviously, is the guy who brought us District 9, as well as Elysium. He was going to give us the Halo movie before... This was like Halo 3, I think, was still the new game when that was originally announced. And that was in development hell forever. So that's actually what led into District 9. No word yet on District 10, though it is, last we heard, still in somewhere in pre-production. But this is noteworthy. This Off the Grid movie is noteworthy because it is animated. I've never seen an animated movie come from Neil Blomkamp. He did do some animated shorts for a thing on HBO Max, I want to say. It could be Amazon Prime, I don't remember. But he did one of a series, which was great. I remember watching his specifically because I really like Neil Blomkamp. This, though, is a little bit different. I don't know. It's done in Unreal Engine 5, and this trailer really has me going, well, what's the rest of the movie gonna be? If that's, because the trailer is long. It's basically a scene from the movie, and I'm intrigued. I'm curious. I want to see what happens. Yeah, so go check out that trailer. Sorry, that was a long way to get to that part. And then our final trailer for movies this episode is Haunted Mansion finally dropped a trailer. This actually looks like it could be pretty spooky. It's definitely not going to be scary. There's probably going to be a couple of jump scares, which doesn't count. But as far as a kids movie goes, because it is going to be rated PG, it is Disney doing, a thing based on a ride that's been at the park forever. And yeah, I legitimately am kind of intrigued by this one as well. The trailer is doing its job, man, because it makes me want to go see this movie. So go check out those trailers. Let's move right along. We got no regular ass news, so we do just move right into movie suggestions for the week. This week we're suggesting the movie Whiplash. Whiplash came out 2014. Starring J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller, and you don't need anything else. Those two together on screen. J.K. won a bleeding Oscar for this. I know that doesn't necessarily mean much, but there is a damn reason why he was nominated for this, because he is amazing in this movie, and Teller just stays with him the entire time. This is some of the best cinema you are ever going to watch. Absolutely turn off the episode now and go watch Whiplash, please. And that moves us into the rumor mill. All right, nerds, rumor mill it is. So pardon me while I take a drink. So, we have no confirmations or refutations aside what we covered in the movies section with the whole Star Wars thing. There are more Star Wars rumors we're going to get to, but the confirmation obviously this week would be Star Wars Rogue Squadron, and whatever Kevin Feige was going to make no longer happening. So that's what we talked about previously. We do have new sources for old rumors, and we're going to get to that right now. First up, we're going to talk about those Star Wars rumors because we have to squash them. We have to put an end to this because it's absolutely silly. So, News sources are hinting about previously reported rumors saying that Lucasfilm is going to retcon the sequel trilogy. I know Doomcock is talking about this. I know Cosmic Book is reporting on it, though I don't think they buy into it. Bounding into Comics also, and I think even We Got This Covered got in on this action. Whoever their specific sources are, I don't know, but this is not happening. This is not happening. This is not happening. They're not going to retcon the sequel trilogy no matter how much we want them to. It's just not going to happen. They will disregard probably elements of the sequel trilogy. They will pretend like certain things didn't happen, but the movies that still exist in canon, like, they're gonna screw it. It's gonna make it worse. It's exactly what it's gonna do, but it's not gonna make fans happy. That's for sure. So my reasoning for this is because we got the characters in the first episode. I haven't watched the most recent episode of Mando. I apologize, but it just hasn't happened yet. But the first episode of Mandalorian, we got those little characters that were the same race as Babu Frick. Babu Frick was introduced into the sequel trilogy. That's where he came from first. Favreau is talking about stories happening after the sequel trilogy, set a significant time after, even, I believe he said in one interview. But that does not mean the sequel trilogy is being retconned. Can we please drop this now? Please. I know it sucks, but it is what it is, so we got to just kind of take it and roll, right? So our other piece of new rumor information, we're going back to The Flash, because of course we're going back to The Flash. Grant Gustin is once again being rumored to be replacing Ezra Miller as the big screen Flash. This also is not gonna happen. I would really like to see the attempt. I don't think Grant Gustin is a bad actor. I just don't think he's a capable enough actor to carry a whole movie. Ezra Miller also probably fits in that boat as well, so I'm not saying he would be any better or worse than Ezra, but no, I am saying that he wouldn't be better than Ezra necessarily. Hey, that's a great band. But I also don't think he would necessarily be worse than Ezra, so we'll put it that way. But it's not happening. James Gunn's not going to do that. James Gunn is going to, if anything, he's going to recast Ezra with somebody else who is a movie actor, not a TV actor. I understand that Grant does well on the TV show, but being in a movie is a completely different sphere of acting ability, generally speaking. Again, I think it would be great to see him try. I think it would be worth it to see him try, and I think he potentially could make the leap from small to big screen. I just don't think this is going to be how it happens. Just the way Gunn is running things, there's no evidence to believe that this could be a possibility at all. So there you go. Let's get into new rumors now, shall we? First up in new rumors, we have a new MCU rumor talking about the return of Ultron. But not exactly how you think Ultron would return if you were a comic book reader and he just sometimes just pops up with a brand new edition. Like, hey, I'm gonna be evil for a while and then there's gonna be 50 of me. It's not gonna be something like that. He's going to return, apparently, according to the rumor, going to return as an AI in Armor Wars series, which I believe just got pushed back. I could be wrong with that information, but yeah. So, interesting. It's fairly insignificant in the grand scheme of things. I think if they do this, it would be James Spader coming back to voice an AI as an Easter egg for the fans. I don't think it's going to be proper Ultron because they've moved past that. Feige is not one to really rehash the past necessarily. So we're going to put this one right about 50% because it would be cool if it happens. There is a limited reason to believe that it would happen. There is also a limited reason to believe it won't happen. So kind of either or, 50% likely. Let's go on. Next, we have one about the new Brave and the Bold movie. This one is actually one that I'm surprised didn't get rumored quicker. And that is Ben Affleck is being rumored to direct James Gunn's Batman movie. Ben Affleck has made it known that he wants to direct another DC movie. He has he's been in talks to direct a movie. So how cool would it be for him to direct the next Batman movie, because he was just Batman, right? So the thing's coming full circle. And again, just a number of reasons why this is very likely to happen. There is a fair bit to say that maybe he's just moved on from DC now that he's no longer going to play Batman. So that's why we're not going probably as high as some of you might want, but we are going 70% likely that this is going to be a thing, because there is a fair amount of information out there dealing with this. Next, we're talking about Avengers Secret Wars. The series is reportedly getting pushed back, and not just a little bit. According to the rumor, it's getting pushed back to 2028. As it stands right now, the official release for the Secret Wars series is 25, I believe. So that's 3 years. Again, I'm kind of going by rote, so I could have that off by about a year. So it's either 2 or 3 years, because I think it's 25 or 26. I can't remember specifically, but I'm pretty sure it's 25. So 3 years pushback. That's huge. Likelihood that this is a thing, honestly, from what we've been hearing from Disney and them, kind of shuffling things around because things aren't going as well as they want, specifically Marvel movies and Star Wars movies, I think there is a strong possibility. We're going to go, again, 70% likely that this is legit. Yeah, very much. Let's do this. Scream 7 is our next rumor. That's right. Scream 6 still has not... Scream 6 just released this weekend. Apparently, the release numbers were good enough that they have already greenlit another Scream movie. This one... there's no rhyme or reason to when they do a Scream movie or any of that information. They kind of jumped into Scream 6, and now it follows suit. Let's jump right into Scream 7. This one comes from a pretty weak source, though, so I can't go super high. We're going to look at this one at about 60% likely that Scream 7 has already been greenlit. Will we see a Scream 7 even if it hasn't been greenlit right now? Yeah, probably. I feel like we're about 2 years away from seeing Scream 7, unless it's greenlit as of this weekend, in which case... yeah, we'll probably see it next year. Who knows? And then we're going to talk about The Mandalorian. We got rumors on The Mandalorian. This is a rumor that I think we're going to have to squash as well. A rumor is that they're going to be recasting the role of Cara Dune. They specifically said, Favreau specifically said, again, going by rote, so maybe I'm misquoting, but by my recollection, at the very least, Favreau has said that Cara Dune will not be recast. At the most, she'll be written out, but they will not recast her. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm about 90% certain that that is a paraphrase of something that Favreau has legitimately said. So the likelihood that they're going to recast her now, being as, again, other rumors are pointing to the fact that Favreau is getting more power on the Star Wars side of Disney, very unlikely. We're going to put this one at about 25% likelihood that they will recast Cara Dune, because just... Favreau doesn't want to do it. Favreau's the guy in charge, so no reason to believe it'll happen. And that, Big Show Nerds, is the end of the episode. So is there anything that you feel like I have left out, or, you want to cover in the next episode? Let's drop a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, do all of the things. While you're here, don't forget to check out all of the other Big Show Entertainment Network platforms. Like, subscribe, share, all that noise. And if you want to go deeper into the nerd news, you can join me on my personal YouTube channel, Generally Nerdy. Thank you very much, nerds. We'll see you next time.